No pigs need licking.
No pigs
there's no
will be
point.
harmed. No pigs will lick in, and no pigs will be harmed in the making of this podcast.
There never were. Even if you licked a pig, it's not going to be harmed. I mean, you might have had to ask it permission.
We're into May already. Can you believe it?
I'm still wondering where May 2024 went.
Well, it certainly was in the box of Mays at the time.
I literally remember saying, "God, I can't believe this month's gone so quick," and I think it wasn't even May anymore; it was June.
Is that why they call it May? Because it creates that question of May. Where did that go?
I don't know. Who's May?
I don't know. Never met her.
No. Time just goes so quickly. It really, really does. It's precious.
It does, and that's a very good link, actually. Did you realise that we are? Well, we all are, but I am more than we. Just under a month away from a year ago when I had my eye operation.
Interesting. That does bring us on nicely to what we're going to talk about, huh?
It does a little bit, yeah. But yes, we are 2 days less than a month away.
Okay. And how are you feeling?
Well, generally with my right hand. My left hand does go a little bit numb sometimes, but with the right, it does feel pretty normal. So
okay. All right. God, yeah, that's low-hanging fruit. Your sense of humour was left behind, obviously, in the operating theatre.
Humour.
It removed your humour.
Did they take my humour? No. I'm good. I'm still fatigued. I'm still suffering with anything past 10, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock per day. It's just not really any point talking to me after 12. And then I
midday.
And then I come awake for about 20 minutes and then I go back to sleep.
Oh gosh.
So, but that's fine. No, it's and I'm doing all right. I have days that are better than others, as everyone does. But yeah, the old goggle box, not goggle box, this bit up here, the noggin, has suffered quite a lot this last week. But we're going to talk about what we're going to do about that and how we're going to resolve it in a minute or two. But how about you? Enough about me. How about you?
I'm all right. How about you? Yeah, I'm fine. What's been going on? We had Easter. That was great. Got ill. Both me and my wife spent Easter kind of. No, that's not true. No, it was after Easter, wasn't it? We got ill.
It was.
Yeah, Easter holidays, and that was great. And we had a bit of a move around at Models for Heroes, which was fun. We've got a bit more space to sit around a table now, should we need to. So that's quite cool. And we got the opportunity to sort of tidy up a bit and throw some old stuff away and reveal things that we forgot we had and put them on the shelf. That's cool. What else? But model making all over the shop, actually. Yeah, my daughter's been in here model making with me.
Nice.
She said, "Dad, can I do some model making with you?" I said, "You absolutely can. You didn't have to ever ask me twice." And I've got myself an extra little chair for her now. It's like a little padded, foldable number. And she can get it out herself and she can set herself up. Trouble is, this desk is too high for her, bless her. So she has to have my footstool under her butt so she can reach the table. It's a standing desk, but not for her. Actually, she could stand at it, but I won't make her do that. She can, she sit there. She's built the Sherman, the Toon Tank one.
Oh right, yeah.
just reaching it for it now. She's primed it. If you can see. There you
go. Oh yeah. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she used the out of focus paint that I use.
Yeah.
But she's primed it and she built it up, and she's got a couple of bits where she's missed the nubs for sanding them down, but you know, she's 11, so she's 12. She's 12. Cut that bit out.
She's 12, isn't she? I think, Malcolm.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I can ask her, and then whatever it is, I can just cut it in later. She's not going to listen. It's fine. She's really enjoyed it, and the wheels still go around, which is awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. I tell you, it's really fun to prime it with the airbrush. With the wheels going round, because it makes them go like super fast. It's really cool, and you slowly watch them go white because I've primed it white. So yeah, have that fun. I never noticed I never had that fun before. And one of her hatches opens and closes, and the other one doesn't because I think she sanded it too much somehow, and it wouldn't stay on, let alone open and close. So she glued it shut, and the other one opens and closes.
Oh, you wouldn't want both of them to open?
Well,
no, you wouldn't. No. She's done completely the right thing.
Oh, okay. She hasn't primed in there. Look, I just noticed that. That's all bare plastic inside. She primed the underneath.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah,
not my daughter.
You clearly weren't watching her.
No. Wild, abandoned.
Yeah,
throwing paint around all underneath and stuff. Shall I switch the camera over? That'll be probably better.
You can do, yeah.
That makes more sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I've been working on.
It will certainly help everybody who's listening to the podcast.
Yes, they'll appreciate it. I went to an Engage show. When did I go? Just before Easter it was. And I picked this up. There's a £3 little plastic house. One of the guys at work works with me on a Monday, Chris, he has an Engage layout. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I'll buy that, and I'll put that together, and I'll give it to him, and he can stick it on his Engage layout. Nice. It's a corner pub, right, called the Airfix. But he has a freight layout, so has no space for any sort of pubs or any domesticated things. But he's going to get it anyway.
Well, that'll work well then.
Yeah. I think there could be still a corner pub near a freight.
I'll be honest. In being in the railway that I am, and knowing the drivers that I do, I would say a freight area of a railway would definitely have at least a pub, if not several.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. But yeah, so I've scratch built the little thing that holds the sign up, as you can tell. That's a paperclip and half of a 1/44 scale safety barrier from my 747 build folded in half.
Nice.
These are the D9R lights from Meng, 1/35th scale lights. These are nice planters. Comes with the guttering, so that's cool. The curtains. Sorry if you're not watching and just listening.
No, I'm glad you're explaining what they are. Yep.
The curtains are just folded pieces of paper or pictures of curtains. So I've got a catalogue with pictures of curtains, and I cut them out, and like wallpaper as well. Signs. So I cut them out and just stuck them in, because why not? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. And then just painted it up. And that smoke there is cotton bud smoke.
Cotton bud smoke. Yep.
Cotton bud smoke. So you can see it's all wispy. And then
that comes in quite a small packet, I believe. The cotton wool bud smoke, doesn't it?
It does, but you get 2.
Mm.
And then I scratch built an aerial. For some reason, it's really thick. It looks like some sort of swordfish.
But because it's thick, it's helpful because when you've painted it with the out of focus paint, the size of it helps bring it into focus.
Yeah. And then put some little bits of grass in the guttering because that's like, and then put some wash on it and shit. Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed that. It's fun.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to Chris when I see him next. And or what else? Oh, reach over here. I went and bought a Warhammer thing. So a while ago, I did like a big orc. It's like an orc commander thing. It's called Gazkul Thraka for those people who know. And why is that out of focus? It's terrible. I bought it because it's really cool. Go look it up. And then I painted it up and I sold it for a little bit more money than I painted it for. No, bought it for. Yeah. So not only did I get my money back and a little bit extra, but also I enjoyed the time painting. And I looked up this, and this one was 150 quid painted.
Nice.
£14 to buy.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got this guy for 14 quid, and he's cool. He's like a little Skaven guy. He's like a rat riding on the back of a rat, which is, makes complete sense to me. So double rat. So I'm going to paint him up at some point, and then see if I can sell him and make my billions.
That's not Ratatouille, is it?
Could be, couldn't it? 2 rats. Ratatouille, yeah. No, some sort of Skaven Nor Lord or something.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it. I can see the there's a lot of detail in that, and you certainly can get carried away.
Yeah, it's great, and it went together quite fine. It's typical Games Workshop coolness. So yeah. Again, if you're listening, it looks really cool. What else am I up to? Sorry, I'm taking up all the.
No, you carry on. I didn't realise you had so much on the bench. Go
on. So I'm doing a thing for a charity called Mission Motorsport. They do. They did a Goodwood circuit at Key Model World, which I think you were playing with a couple of weekends ago, and they want to do a Spitfire to recreate the one that in 1989 flew around the circuit at like 20 feet.
Okay.
And I said okay. So I went out and got myself a cheap Scalextrics car, just a secondhand one, and stuck a camera mount on it. Yeah, and then filled in the windshield. And I'm just going to paint the whole thing black. So it's a Scalextrics car, as you can see the little braids on the bottom. And I put some bit of magnets and stuff in it, so it's super magnetized now. It's like dangerous being on the desk because it keeps picking everything up. See? Shit. Hang on. Okay. Right, do this with one hand. Yeah, let even pick that up as well. That paper clip and a staple. I didn't even know we had a staple on here. So anyway, that's that. And then on the bottom of the Spitfire, the 172nd one, is a little screw hole.
Yep.
So that then just screws on to the top.
Yeah.
I won't do it now because it's got one hand. So that screws on top, and then that goes around the track. They are going to send me a dummy one, like just a regular like box or something with wheels. But I thought it would be fun just to make that myself. And then I'm going to go up to the UK Slot Fest that's Slot Fest on Saturday. To see if I can work it and go and meet the guys who do the Scalextrics track up there, the Mission Motorsport. They also want maybe to have some models around, and they were going to have a 1/32 Spitfire as well, but I'm not painting that one.
No.
That's that. What else? That's it. That's it. That's what I'm doing. I'm still working on my 135th German soldiers. Still, they just look grey. I'm not
The winter theme.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was working on that until these all lipped in the way. So,
Uh-huh.
but that's fine. I've got my hobnob build as well.
Hobnob build.
Yeah. So this is I took the whole sort of chassis and everything else away from the. So this is a tank container or something, liquid container thing for a train, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And it's going to be a hobnob packet, but the hobnob packet that I bought, the actual word hobnobs is as big as this thing is, so I can't use that to reference. So I need to get something smaller. So I have to photocopy it, shrink it, print it out, blah blah blah, and then sort of hand paint it on. But I haven't got around to that yet.
That's a shame, isn't it? Because you could have had the hobnob packet slightly open, revealing the hobnobs sections down the side. Not that I'm trying to create even more work for you in any way.
Yeah, like some sort like some sort of heist. You mean like somebody? Yeah. Wow. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
And you could make a diorama with a trail of crumbs.
You could.
Anyway.
So yeah, this is the Mark 9 Spitfire. It's the Airfix one.
Yeah.
Out of the packet. I've got some special decals. I need to put some Polish markings on it. Yeah, that's all we're going to do. Yeah, that's me.
Cool.
I guess. So tell me about Key Model World, because you went.
Yes. So I that's it. That's what's on my bench right now. Because I've been busy doing other bits and pieces. One of the things was I spent the weekend in Birmingham, which was interesting. I think was the right phrase. Interesting. So Key Model World is a model and railway show, or model scale. Well, anyway, yeah, there was model railways there, and there were also model kits and radio control cars and trucks and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it was a right mixture of stuff. So it was quite interesting. I think, to be honest, it's predominantly a railway show.
Yeah,
there was a lot going on there, and they do take up a lot of space because obviously they've got some of the big, really, really big layouts.
Yeah.
Mr. Waltman's is there, and others, which are interesting to look at. Because you've effectively got a goods yard, because they've got all the trains they have to program in and shuttle around, etc. So yeah, it's interesting. It's not my cup of tea, I'm not going to lie, but there are certain elements of it that I think are quite fascinating. So had a little look at that. Didn't spend an awful lot of time looking at it, I got to be honest. I spent an awful lot of time though on the on the Models for Heroes stand, which was fantastic. Although my colleagues that were with me seemed to have the impression that I wasn't there an awful lot for some reason. But, you know.
This is the thing everyone says when you come back.
No, it's funny because I, on a couple of occasions I did say, right, I'm just going to pop off and go and do this or that or whatever. And I was longer than I'd anticipated, purely because I'd get accosted by somebody or other. Oh, hello, how are you? And all that sort of stuff, which is very nice. But you get caught in conversations and oh well, basically finished, I better go. So yeah, it was interesting, and it was quite refreshing to meet some people through the 48. They knew me from that.
Yeah.
We did have the QR code for the 48 on the table for next year, so you can log in and register yourself, which is all new stuff. And then obviously you got some traders. So obviously traders that I know relatively well. Had a good old chat with them to see how things were going with them.
Did you buy anything?
I even no. Well, no, that's not true. No, that's not true. I didn't buy any models.
Did you buy a bacon sandwich?
No, I didn't. I was going to buy fish and chips, but I misplanned that badly.
Okay, misplanned. Okay, what did you buy then?
So the reason I misplanned it was because after the first day, I'd walked around and I'd seen the price of the fish and chips and went, oh. And then when I got back to the hotel, I suddenly thought to myself, do you know what? It's like £2 more than what I'm about to spend. I could have had fish and chips. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that tomorrow, which is Sunday, or would have been Sunday. And then I'm thinking, yeah, but I'm going to be going home and having dinner, so I can't have fish and chips. So I missed out completely, which is a shame. But what I did buy, he says, I bought this.
Oh, new lamp. Oh, nice.
So for those watching on Spotify, it's a new light. So and it does say LED now desk lamp. So it is a U-shaped lamp that goes on your desk. Right. And I will be doing a review of it for the company in question.
Who was it?
Craft Lighting.
Craft Lights, yep.
I think it was something.
Yep.
I may have to edit that in. So sorry if I've forgotten. But yeah, it's quite a powerful light. And it stands about 40, 50 centimeters off the desk.
Okay.
So you've got a nice working area underneath it, and obviously my nails look great in it. So that's a bonus.
Is it like it's like a halo, isn't it? Like a big.
It's like a square halo, yeah.
Square.
Yeah, oh no, sorry, a square arch would be a better description. So you know the arch lights that went for a little bit about everyone's I'd love to have one of those.
Yeah,
I think they're quite impractical, certainly for my setup. So the reason I bought it is the light that I bought at Telford just is not strong enough. It's a reasonably good light, don't get me wrong, but it's just not, there's no power in it really. And I swapped it for two other lights that I'd previously had, which are now on my paint booth, which have got a better strength of light.
Oh, okay. I mean, you've got two studio lights as well, haven't you?
I've got studio lights, and depending on what I'm doing, I can light it sufficiently enough to work with it. It's fine. However, I really did like the two lights I had on and nothing else because it worked quite well. But the problem with those was they were attached to a shelf in such a way which they became the attachment onto the shelf was the problem, if that makes sense.
Yep. So
I opted for this thing that I bought in Telford because I've drilled a hole in the shelf and pushed it into the hole, and it sits there all by itself. It's lovely. Right. So it frees up loads of space in front of me. It's great, but it's just not very strong, unfortunately. Anyway, so I bought this, thought I'll give it a try and see what happens. And I have taken it out of the box and turned it on, because the problem with buying lighting at shows is that you're in a big space. So the way the light behaves is not necessarily how it's going to in your space. So, but I'm pleased to say and report that actually it's just as strong as I think. In fact, it's probably a little bit too strong, if I'm honest. But yeah, but that's a good thing. Because you've got controls, you can do the different tones of the light and the strength of the light. So I got just a bit of a play, and it should be fine. But the really special part about it is obviously that then means that area is now fully capable of me sticking a camera on it, and everything's lit, and I don't have to worry about it.
I see. Right. Yep.
So yeah, so a little bit more playing to be done. I certainly, once I've had a moment and reviewed it and pushed it through its paces, so to speak, it'll be fine. But yeah, that's all I bought, which wasn't enough money in itself. But yeah, so I was very, very good. But going back to the show, what was more important was talking to people and stuff. And I won't name the person, but I did meet a particular person that's quite new to the charity. He listens to the podcast.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I did apologise on both of our behalf for that.
Thank you.
But he was explaining to me the difference it made to him personally. And you know the sort of stories. As I say, I won't go into too much depth on it because I don't want to. I certainly didn't ask permission to do so either. So okay. I don't want to embarrass the guy. But yeah, it's certainly helping him greatly, and that's always humbling to listen to and be a part of in that conversation. So, lots of things like that going on. So it was a great weekend in that respect. I do believe someone took video footage of me eating at one point, which is I'm sorry about that. It's
I
not.
haven't seen it.
No, it's a very small clip in someone's video, and luckily they didn't show the whole thing. But yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it was really good. It was really good. And the other thing that I don't think you know this actually. I don't think I told you because obviously you've been unwell. We've not really spoken that much.
Nope.
But I had the opportunity to speak to the wonderful David from 3D Gizmo.
Yeah, again, yes.
Again,
Little,
yeah. Well, we
little
talk
David.
regularly. Yeah, we talk regularly. I normally talk up to him, obviously.
No, he's tiny. He's a little guy, isn't he?
Oh, he is tiny to you, but to me, he's not. He's very, very high. I have to part the clouds to be able to see his face. But anyway,
I like David. He's fun.
Yeah, he's a cracking laugh, really good laugh. But I was talking to him about his wonderful bits and pieces that he makes, and happened to mention to him that I'd used one of his figures in that 48 and 48 for the guys in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And what did he think of it? And he's like, I don't know what you're on about. I hadn't sent him a picture. I can't believe I didn't send him a picture. So luckily I had it with me. So I went off and picked it up off the table of goodness from Models for Heroes and went back, and he off.
He what?
He'd buggered off. He disappeared. So I had to show his wife, which was, I had to go around the back and say, well, look, have a look at this. Tell me what you think. She said, well, I'm not. Yeah,
David. That was a shame. I like.
She was blown away, bless her. When David came back, I presented it to them and said they could keep it.
Oh,
I haven't got it anymore. Which I'm cool with. I really enjoyed doing it, and if I want to do it again, I can always go and buy another figure and do it again. But yeah, so he's now he says it's on Pride of Place because he was like really, really cool with it. Really liked it.
Oh, that's great. Oh, good.
So that's nice. So that was cool. It was one of those things that spur of the moment. I didn't really think too much about it, and it was a very nice thing to do. So I really enjoyed that.
Well done, you. Good. Very nice. Very
and I thinned out a little bit of the thing. That Hobnob 1 was on display, obviously. I took Hobnob 1 with us.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of a debate. I'm not going to mention his name. We are not going to mention his name because apparently we mentioned his name too many episodes. But there was a bit of controversy in the display because one of his models and one of mine, which depicts an explosion and movement. There was lots of debate from the people looking at the store as to whose was better, and
I see.
I even tried to move mine back a little bit and bring his forward a bit because I felt like I was getting too much attention, and it did get a little bit awkward on the Saturday.
Yes, but definitely don't mention it.
No, maybe, I won't mention his name.
Maybe next time he has to reconsider which dioramas he may field.
Well, the problem is, I think, is how am I going to ask John what he's taking? That's going to be the problem. I can't think of a subtle way in which I could find out really. But yeah, that was quite fun. Even to the point where we were teasing each other obviously all the way through the weekend, and I asked somebody, what these two models, which ones do you think better? And of course they voted for John's.
I imagine he made him very happy.
Well, he after they left, he actually said that how did I manage to get them to say that with with a straight face? It was coinage.
Yeah,
literally. I had a couple of coppers in my pocket, but not that they were cheap or anything, because I'm not saying that, because that wasn't what I meant. But anyway, yeah. So it was a really good weekend. Really enjoyed it. Was there with Steph, with John, and with Gary. So that was all cool. Gary was quite worn out by the whole thing.
You all were.
I didn't actually get there in time to do setup. And I was so tired on the Sunday that I didn't stay until breakdown either.
Oh, that's right.
But John was okay with that. But yeah, it really walloped me big time because I worked the day before on the Friday. I was at work. I misplanned that.
So would you go next year?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't think I would. That's not a reflection on the show as such. It's a reflection on the cost. Because, well, I think with a lot of planning, maybe I would, if I could make sure don't get me wrong, I was lucky because I managed to get a very cheap room in a hotel. Right. I could have done cheaper, but I got a relatively good deal. So about half of what John spent, I think, off the top of my head. Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's the honest answer. It's not really a reflection on the snow. It's a great place to go. It was super busy. 4,500 they said, they reckoned on the Saturday, about 4 on the Sunday, which is good numbers. And it was a good mixture of people, in age range from children to very, very adults.
Very adult.
Very adult, yeah. Oh God, there was a few very adults walking around with their grandchildren. And I think for me, the venue, I didn't enjoy the walk to the venue from the car park at all.
Right, 10 minutes.
There is a bus, so there is a way to get around that, which I did use on the way back. But John on the Saturday morning, John walked me from the car park to the venue, and when I say walked me, he really needed to put a bit of rope around me to make sure we didn't disappear from each other because he was walking at such a pace, bless him. And it took me a good hour to stop breathing like I was on a phone to somebody. But
it is a lot of money, isn't it?
It is, and it's a shame because I think the concept of having all those different hobbies together is a really really good idea. And the other thing I liked about the venue to a point was that the aisles between stalls and all that was really wide. I mean, at least twice, if not more, distance between stalls than Telford, for example.
Yeah.
So it was quite not off-putting. What's the word I'm looking for? It was difficult to judge just how busy it was because at Telford, when it's got to the busy moment because everybody's sort of like this, and those in the middle of the channel are literally just been buffed along with the flow.
Yeah,
and there was none of that because it was loads of room. So that's a good thing. It is a good thing. But it makes it a bit deceptive. But it was good. It was good. It was good to see Lewis and Nat was there. Nat was there for her full scan for Models for You that she got in the 48 and 48. So that was quite cool. I do have an image. Which may or may not be used in the socials. Can't promise anything, Nat, sorry. But that was quite fun.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend. It was really a good weekend, quite positive. The drive there was a bit of a nightmare because I hit some traffic works that I didn't know was going on. And that was painful. I literally got out and walked around for about 10 minutes because we weren't going nowhere. But on the way back, I avoided that, so it was okay.
For me, so I didn't go to the NEC this year because I didn't go last year either. But I didn't go this year because it had to be either that or Telford, and I had to make the choice because of the amount of cost it is. We're very lucky, we get to go in to the NEC for free because obviously we're displaying. But it's still a lot of money. Scale Model is longer for me because I stay on the Monday as well.
That's right, yeah.
But it's the hotel costs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely be like for like in the amount of time required. As Telford, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And initially I had looked at an Airbnb, so it wasn't going to be that much. But unfortunately, I was stupid and I didn't book it straight away, and left everything to the last minute, and I got sniped. So but in a way that was good, I think, because the Airbnb was a little bit further away, and I think that probably would have impacted on stuff as well anyway. So I was literally on Friday evening, I was literally sitting drinking coffee, plane spotting out of the bedroom window at the Birmingham airport. So
nice. Cool.
Yeah. My private jet arrived and was being fueled, and I thought I saw you at one point, because I thought, that little bugger's borrowing the jet to nip over to have dinner in somewhere or other.
Oh, you took the JMC jet, did you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it has to work while we're not using it. So, yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting weekend.
Cool. Excellent. What else have you been up to?
So, yeah, that's sort of it, really. I've got a lot of planning. I've been doing a lot of planning of late. A lot coming up, and a lot I'm putting off as well. That makes sense. So, but yeah, so I suppose we should really just talk about it, and I'm done with it, eh?
Are we going to talk about the Liberator?
Yes.
Are we going to talk about the Liberator and what happened?
What happened? You haven't touched my Liberator, have you? What have you done to it?
No, you touched it. That was the problem.
No, the Liberator is literally just up there above my head. It's all painted and glossed. Waiting for some decals, but unfortunately the decal sheet is dead.
Yes, but did we talk about on another episode about the Liberator, about the paint?
Yeah, we've done the yellow.
Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about the yellow.
Yes, on JMC.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, I'm pretty certain we did.
Okay, fine.
I can do a resume.
In summary, last week on JMC.
Yeah. Last time we spoke about masking. Yeah, I cocked up the Liberator, obviously, and moaned and groaned about it, and you told me off and said, not just you, in fairness, there was numerous, because I'm the sort of person that likes to ask people's opinions. Not sure I will anymore, but on that occasion I did, and everyone basically bar one said, "You're an idiot, get on with it." So I did. So
how quickly did you fix it?
It was remarkably quick, actually, because I was on a live stream with you on the Sunday, and within an hour and a half I had primed it, base coated it, and started masking it up for the squares. And then by probably an hour or so after we finished the stream, it was done. So it was super quick. And the funny, like I said right from the beginning, the problem was getting that first square in the right place. You get that mask, that first square mask in the right place, and everything flows off it. And what I'd done is I had a similar experience the first time around, but then when I got to the bottom of the fuselage, things didn't marry up. It didn't make sense. And then when I had painted it and put it to the wings, realized that actually what I'd done is I'd swapped over where the yellow paint should be and where it shouldn't be in the masking. That's why I had to redo it. But it was super quick. It's the quickest I've ever fixed a problem, I think, so far.
It was such a big issue as well, but I guess it wasn't in the end.
Well, it wasn't really. I mean, I moaned and groaned about it because it was going to be quite a bit of paint, and I thought it'd be like too thick, and all that sort of stuff. And realistically, it didn't really matter, because the whole point of it was just the way it looked. It didn't need to. It's not a super careful build. It's more about the assembly ship and the fact that it's red and green or red. No, not red.
Yeah.
Not red on it at all. What are you talking about, James? Yellow, yellow squares, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. So obviously, I was distraught when I hadn't actually looked at the decals at all until I got to the point where I was about to use them.
Yeah.
And they were dead. So I kindly no, I didn't kindly at all. I managed to speak to someone that was kind enough to that would volunteer themselves unnecessarily to fix my problem. So Mal, the wonderful Mal, has which John will be annoyed now. I said Mal and John in the same episode. Oh my god, it's too much to concentrate on. Anyway, Mal helped me greatly. He's made me some masks. A mask set, which are here. They're in the packet. I've received them. I received them the day after. I think the day after I came back from Birmingham. But I literally taken out the envelopes. All done. I'm not doing anything else. But the upside to that was that the obviously the decal set that I was going to use is completely different to what I actually need. So I was never going to be able to use them anyway. So anyway. I now have a full masking set, which I've never masked on stars and bars and all that sort of stuff before. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that at some point. I probably will. I know I'm going to do it in the next few weeks. So, but we're at a point now where the undercarriage is all painted and ready. I think I've got a couple of flaps. Now I've got a tart up on the outside because I've done the inside of my flaps, but not the outside of my flaps. So I've got to do that, and then stick me round things on, and we're pretty much there, really. So it'll be just as quickly finished, possibly, depending how the masks go. And that'll be done. It'll be go up there somewhere out of the way. So that'd be cool.
That'd be good.
Which is good because I need a clear bench, and I will need a clear bench for some time. So
you will. It's interesting. I think your build and your struggles you had with it are kind of sparked off a couple of other conversations I had with other people about the mental mountain that we put in front of modeling sometimes.
Yeah,
for fixing stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of comments from people because it was very public what happened. Because you made it public. It's your fault.
I did. Too right, I did. Yeah. Mistakes happen, right?
Yeah. No, it was a good lesson. I mean, I've got to be honest. I'm not someone generally that will go, oh, that's all gone wrong, I'm going to smash it up and throw it away. And I'm not that sort of person.
Yeah.
I normally will soldier on to some degree, but this was definitely something in which I just wanted to throw away. I just had enough. But I think it was a manifestation of other stuff, if I'm honest. So the fact that I tackled it was much more important than I probably would give credit to. So, and as usual, my friends are there to back me up all the way and smack me around the head when I'm being silly. So that's fine.
Yeah. We're very smackable.
Well, this is it. This is the joy of not having hair. See, that's why I haven't got hair, in fact, because most of my friends do smack me around the head and doesn't give a chance for it to grow. But yeah, no, it was a good thing. And yeah, you're right. It did spark a few conversations. And I'm aware. I know certainly one person said that he found it. I don't want to use the word inspirational, but I can't think of one that's softer to use. It made quite an impact on them.
Okay.
So, that was pleasant to hear. So, but yeah.
So it's not the skill that stops you, is it? It's not the skill that stops you. It's not the time. It's just that kind of I have to do it again.
Just getting over that bump. Yeah, it's really just getting over that bump, and I think we've all had a kit or a paintwork or whatever where things haven't gone well, and you're like, oh god. And definitely as a community, we really do whinge and moan and go, oh, this kit's bloody terrible. Whoa. and might be that we might have stuck something slightly in the wrong place, which has had a knock-on effect through the rest of the build, or it could be bad engineering. Probably the first.
Much
no kit
easier.
is unbuildable. That's fine. Well, apart from the 172nd Sea King from Airfix. Sorry, Dal, but not the new ones.
He didn't make
certainly the older ones. Yeah, but there you go. See, there in itself is a manifestation of that problem. Is sometimes it's better to walk away from things because Airfix brings out a whole different kit that's much better.
That's right. Yeah.
But no, on this occasion, it was right. And you know the funny part, I haven't told you this either. So the funny part is, we were going to talk about it in a minute, but I've got a big project coming up, which we sort of mentioned a few times because I'm boring people with it quite a lot and going to do it a lot more. But my goal for the last month or so is to clear the decks and prepare for what's coming. And my darling brother has been made redundant, which is sad. But he's looked at it in a positive manner and found an avenue in which is going to work really well for him. Which again, you don't know anything about this, so this is all new to you. So
it is. I'm hearing this live.
So my brother actually has been working with a lady in America, reuniting families with lost airmen from the Second World War and finding their wrecks and finding out what happened to them and all that sort of stuff. Not part of the War Grave Commission, but I think he does work with them to a point of some degree. I'm not quite sure 100% what's going on. Anyway, it's been a hobby, but it looks like he's now going to turn this into a job.
Wow.
Whether it's a paying job or not, don't know. It's not that important. But yeah, it's something he's got a massive passion about, and he is a sort of person that will be no stone unturned sort of person, and the lady he's working with is very similar. And it's very exciting times. However, bearing in mind, if you cast your mind back all that way to what I may have probably said, phasey. The whole point of me getting into model making was down to my brother, in the fact that I really wanted to make models with my brother.
I remember. Yes.
Yeah, and then my brother used a Park-Ray fire and a Tamiya kit to come combined because the paint wouldn't dry quick enough. And the incident was one of those humps, funny enough, that drove him away from the hobby because he basically threw his toys out the pram and went, that's it, I'm never touching a model again. And he hasn't, to a point I'm aware of. Right. I still have that model, the melted model. I still have that. It's upstairs in the loft.
Well, it's fixable.
No, it's not.
Not fixable.
No, it's not fixable. However, there may be a Christmas that he gets it in a frame at some point. But I've never
remake it for him.
Now it's funny you should say that. I do have the kit. It was under the side here. I do have the kit. I actually bought it because I wanted to make the kit.
Is it a universal carrier?
No, it is the German flak half track.
Okay.
Can't think of the name and numbers that goes with it, but that's what it is. It's a half track with a big flat gun on the back. And it was a winter scene, and he did all the soldiers in winter clothing.
Oh, yeah. This builds up to a nice looking thing.
It's a lovely kit, and I've even got the figures that he did still. I've still got everything from it. Anyway, he said to me, I've been thinking, with all this work I'm going to be doing with the servicemen and stuff and airframes, I might need some wall art, he said. So I said, okay, interesting. Well, I'm sure I can help in some way. Anyway, so long story short, I'm now got to build a a B-17, a B-24, and a Mosquito. Out of nowhere.
For what?
He wants them in particular designs to do with the bomber forces in which he'll be covering and looking for and that sort of thing.
Is he doing like live shows and videos and things like that?
No, I don't think so. No, but he wants what it is. He just wants some wall art. He wants like made models that sit on a wall. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. He's got a nice, a very small representation of a 1/24th Mosquito already.
Small 1/24.
Yeah, that he that was on a lovely base that's now vertical on a wall.
Okay.
It works, but yeah, so that's what he wants. So of course I willingly, without thinking, went, yeah, I can do that one. What sort of size do you want? It might be 1/48 or larger.
Okay.
So okay, fair enough, no worries. And then the last bit of the conversation I had with him, which was a few weeks ago now, was that he said something about assembly ships and spotty. And I unfortunately the connection dropped, so I didn't quite hear what he said. But yeah, I've got that coming up. I don't know when that's going to happen, but yeah, that's something I got to fit in. Or Alan, if you're listening, it would be very nice. I've got plenty of room in here. You can come and do some model making with me.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be really nice, because then it'd be like a joint thing. You can look at it when you're at work, thinking, "Arsehole made me do model making." I mean, it's so nice. I love my brother so much. But yeah, so that's coming up. I don't know when it'll be, but it's coming up.
Is he buying the kits for you? Is he reimbursing you for the cost of the primer and the paint and the time and the glue?
Well, yeah, probably. No, my brother. We didn't have that conversation. He did ask at one point, "Do you want me to source the kits?" Because I gave him some avenues of what sort of kit do you want? Maybe this, maybe that. The new Liberator from ICM. Is it ICM or Mini Art? Bad boy.
ICM, I think it is.
But he's at ICM. Yeah, that was one of the ones in which I suggested would be a good kit. It's 1/48th. He's a bit squeamish of the 1/48th Hong Kong models, B17. However, you can get a nice Revell one that's relatively cheap. It's all about visual. It's not about what's inside it and all that sort of stuff. So
does he just want them as a silhouette then? Does he, or he wants particular markings on it?
He wants particular markings. Like I said, I know he said something about spotty and stripy, which I think I know what he means. However, there is it just so happens that I may know a way of doing it with masks, because I've seen the masking sets for them, which would make it a lot very easy. But obviously, the polka dot things is just going to remind me of doing my Gundam.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway,
it's fun before. It's good.
Yeah, it can be done. It's a project that I look forward to and relish. So that's good. But and it will be a good distraction, because I will need a few distractions over the next 12 months. So, which I planned.
Yes.
So,
why is that, James?
Well, that's strange. That's a good segue, right? You're right. So yes, well, I have mentioned this on JMC before, but it's now getting serious. So obviously we mentioned a little bit earlier that it's coming up for a year anniversary, would you believe, for when I had my heart operation. So while I was waiting for my heart operation, earmarked a particular kit that I'd like to build, and a particular diorama that I'd like to make from it, etc. And that idea hasn't gone away. And again, I have had a bit of a whinge and a moan about it to my friends, because I have bought the kit. The kit is up here in the corner, up there somewhere, which is the 1/35th Border Models Akaki flight deck with Kate. Now, not Kate Middleton. She doesn't come with it. It is a Japanese plane called Kate. Anyway, so it's big. It's very big, and I hadn't realised quite how big it was. If I'm honest,
very big. Because it's not just the deck, is it, James?
No. It's not. I mean, it's not. Because I didn't want to just do the deck. I decided there was a particular moment in time that I wanted to show. And that particular moment in time was when the Akaki was hit by its first bomb from the Helldiver. Because it has meaning. So so that would mean I would need to make more decks, maybe 2 more decks ish. So we're looking at a square footage, so we say, of 47 inches by 57 inches. And
that would be big in centimeters.
It's much bigger in centimeters, actually. Would you believe?
What? Oh, yes. No. I mean, 47 centimeters is not as big as 47 inches. I looked over to my cutting mat to see how big 47 centimeters would be. I don't have inches on here. and 47 centimeters is massive for a model of any size.
So now I've just said that. Let's just rephrase. I've just got inches in my head for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, It's 57 centimeters by 47 centimeters.
Okay, because inches would be rather big.
Inches is a lot more bigger. I don't know why. Why did I say inches? That's weird, isn't it?
I don't know.
But anyway, so that equates to around about 2 foot by 1.5 foot. If you do your feet, talking of inches.
I think that's like an A3 cutting mat size.
Oh, it's bigger than that.
Is it?
A little bit, possibly.
My cutting mat's 58 centimeters wide.
Oh, yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, well, there you go. Yes, you're probably right then. In that case, thank goodness that we don't need to edit this, right? Anyway, So that's the footage. The floor space, or whatever the phrase is. Footprint. Thank you. Yes, that's the footprint. And then obviously when you start talking about how high would it be, James?
How high would it be?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because it would have been daft for me to answer my own question. So it's around about just under the 4.5 foot mark.
No, 4.5 foot.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So, feet.
In feet, that is. So that in inches would be that many. So in inches, about 47 inches. That's probably when my inches came in, which is 120 centimeters high.
What?
So over
how many decks is that?
That's 2 decks. Now, I know you're standing there scratching your head going, I don't understand why is it so high. You've not taken into account the island on top.
Why is it so high?
That's because the island's on top.
The island?
Yeah. So on this particular aircraft, they have an island, which is where the bridge is, etc.
The superstructure.
The superstructure, yes.
Gotcha.
Which is called an island, and the island is higher than the distance between each deck.
Good God!
So yeah, it's just over 1 meter high. So if that's not complicated enough, which it is, the space that I have for it, which I've cleared in my room for it, is about 0.5 meter too low, and about half the width that I need. So I've got to actually make it in modules that I could then stick together if I wish to take it anywhere.
That makes sense. Well, that's a good idea. Good, because it will be movable then.
Well, the plan is that it will go to Telford at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That is a goal that is part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the process also, not that I've said this out loud per se, is I wanted to go to 2 shows, Telford being one of them, and the second one is one in Europe, but I haven't earmarked a particular show. And the reason for that is due to cost, and I don't know when it's going to be ready, and all the rest of it. So that's my plan. I'd like to take it across the water. That would be a really nice thing to do.
Is the model show on the Isle of Wight?
Hey, yes, good idea. I hadn't thought that. That would tick all the boxes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the outline of what I've got to do. And I have been thinking about it for a year, basically. So the plan is that I will start the build. Oh no, actually, I'll come back to the second. I'll tell you when I'm going to start in a minute. So part of the designing of it and thought process of it all is that it's quite complicated in its engineering side of things. So I, unlike most things I do, I've had to put quite a little planning into it to understand exactly how I'm going to do it.
Planning
Down to, for example, it will have some electricity. Not a great deal, but it will have some. But I need to be able to have a power source in the base that goes up effectively in 1/35th scale size, 8 decks. Now, why 8 decks is because each hanger deck is 2 decks in itself.
Right.
And then I've got the superstructure as well. So,
Okay.
so yeah, so it got to have electricity that can flow all the way up.
Okay.
So that's interesting itself, and modular as well is even more interesting. But I have a plan.
Yeah.
I have a cunning plan.
All right.
So I have mapped a little bit of this out in my book of books. I have ordered the Zero to go with it. So I've got 2 aircraft to go with it. I have spoken to 2 companies that do 3D printing and asked them if they can come up with some Japanese figures for me, which I'm hoping they will.
Oh. Are these figures just wandering around the decks? Are they doing anything special?
Well, if I'm totally honest with you, that's where it gets a lot complicated. I need them to be in a form in which I can cut up and manipulate. So 3D printed is going to be a bit of a nightmare, but that's all part of the thinking process. So it's all good, not a problem. Anyway, we'll come back to the figures in a minute.
Okay.
So that's an obstacle to get over. The modularization, the electricity, the sheer size of the goddamn thing. A carpenter to make carry cases for when I move it. Oh no, I skipped a few bits.
Yeah.
And a van donated. No. So yes, I kicked lots of ideas around. I've mapped out roughly in lots of scribbly bits of paper the idea and how I'm going to achieve what I want to achieve. But I don't think that's enough, because I want to involve the people, the audience, and the people that have supported me through the last year. So I've come up with a plan. So there will be an opportunity for interaction throughout the build. There will also be a little bit of potentially their choice, maybe, which we'll reveal much later. But one of the first steps will be on June the 1st. I've got a round table that we're going to do.
Oh.
And the round table will involve some experts. Now, those people that I've chosen may not consider themselves to be experts, but I consider them to be experts. I think it's the best way to put it. They're very good at what they do. And I think they all can bring to the project something a little bit exciting and different.
So you're to film it all?
So the round table will be live on Sunday the 1st at 3:00 GMT, which I will show everybody and tell everybody about. And then what we're going to do is during that round table, what we're going to do is I've got two dioramists, a figure painter, myself, and a host.
Oh, cool.
And the host will be, we've mapped out the questions and what we're going to do. And the host is just going to make sure we don't run for hours and hours and hours, because we could actually run forever on it. And we're going to kick around a few ideas, kick around some of the obstacles, how we might overcome them, how we might sort from the planning, from the execution to all of it. We're going to try and cover as much as we can within the round table. Now, I've done a bit of that already off air.
Right.
Which has been incredibly helpful to me in how to execute the different things. But so the plan so far is that obviously we're going to do 3 decks. We're going to do hanger deck 1, A, hanger deck B. And the reason for that is because we're going to depict a particular time in history. And that's the moment when the pilot from one of the carriers squadrons drops his bomb, and it hits the deck of the Akaki. Now, what happens is a little bit of history. Is the fact the bomb pierces the top deck, goes into the hangar deck, blows up, and ignites the awaiting planes that are being refueled and rearmed, etc., causes a big fire, and the rest is history, as they say. Now, the reason that I've gone for this is because that's what I thought the model you could achieve with it. So it's sort of part of the plan. However, the really weird part of it all is, while I've been trying to find an exit route to not do it, I discovered in my research that there is much more a link to this particular build from the events in history to the build and to my own journey and health. And that being that on June the 4th at 10:26 is when the bomb hit. And it's also the moment that I had my heart operation. So a weird coincidence. I wouldn't say it's exact moment. The surgeon didn't stand there and go, now. There wasn't any of that. He didn't do a research before or anything. No, he's like, I've gone too quickly. So that means quite a bit. And then while I've been researching and while I've been thinking about the project, I suddenly realized that this actually could do me an awful lot of good mentally, in that it would allow me to create something meaningful in making a piece of history. Reflecting within that piece of history my journey through finding out that I had a heart attack, had to have some new plumbing, and recovery from that, etc. And although the Akaki does sink, I didn't. So, because we've got lots of different levels going on, it just so happens that we will be able to tell the story of the event if we pick just the right moment, which could reflect upon that journey of which I've experienced over the last year. So quite deep and meaningful, and very difficult to put across in any meaningful way right now. But trust me, I'm not going to reveal it now, but I've worked a way in which we can manage some of the Easter eggs within the build to reflect upon my journey.
With you. Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
So for example, obviously the explosion is my heart attack, is the moment that my heart starts to go terribly wrong. So we can reflect on that. Now, this is going to be a big beast. The way that the kit is designed, it will have obviously 4 sides, but one side will be the hull of the ship, underneath the island or superstructure, as you like to call it, which is a side in itself. But in theory, the other 3 sides will all be open, potentially. But in discussions that I've already had, we talked about how we might do the explosion and bits and pieces. And one of the questions I was asked, what side's going to be the bit you don't see? I was like, well, no, all of it. You're going to be able to see all of it.
Of course.
However, I've reflected on that and found a way in which I can achieve that without blocking out one side. Because what actually happens in real history is the bomb just drops just the aft side of the one of the lifts, which is not depicted in the model. However, the model is literally up to where that lift mechanism would be.
Right.
So we're going to use a little bit of artistic license and bring the explosion a little bit more away from where it actually happened, so we can use it within the model.
Right.
Figured a way in which we can do it in a way in which we can not have lots of electricity involved in the explosion. So there will be no electricity in the explosion at all.
Oh, okay.
It'll all be object source lighting effect.
Nice.
Apart from some of the bits and pieces on the deck, which again will be painted. There'll be no lighting, but it will be a little bit more dramatic maybe than it might have been if someone took a picture to a point.
Yeah, I understand. So the lighting will be the actual lights on the ship, will it?
Yes. So each of the hangar decks, obviously they had lights hanging from the roof. So I'm going to make those so they've got little lights, because obviously because of the way it is, it'll become quite dark. So it needs something, because you won't be able to see anything.
Yeah.
And yes, I can paint it all in a way, but then that's going to be really complicated and take a long time to do all the shadows of every single light that might have done and all that sort of thing. So we'll have that, and then the other lights will be in the bridge section, because there is lighting within the kit, and other bits and pieces like that. So the time it happened obviously is during the day, so it doesn't need a great deal of light. It doesn't. I'd love to. They've got spotlights on the superstructure. I'd love to put spotlight in there, but it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. However, there is the possibility, which I'm struggling with, is that obviously the lights, they did use them for communication. So I could have a flickering light, but that means movement, and I don't like movement in a model.
No, we just talked about this, haven't we, before?
Yeah. So I'm going to have to think about that. What I might do is I might try and use a bit of clever trickery with painting to show that they're flashing a message, maybe. I don't know. Well, I'll have to think about that. But it's something in which we can overcome and think about, maybe kick around the round table. But
you talked about the model showing the journey that you've had, right? So I'm assuming then that you're not particularly choosing an absolute moment in time. Everything is not completely frozen.
No, it is a moment in time.
Oh, is it an absolute moment in time? Oh, okie dokie. All right.
To the second, yeah.
All right. Okay.
So basically, the moment in time will be once that bomb has pierced the top deck and hit the hangar deck and exploded.
Okay.
That event would have created reactions from the crew in different levels, and which would reflect on the different moments of my journey.
Gotcha. I'm with you. Yeah.
That's
exactly the same time.
Yeah, that's what I figured out without meaning to in a conversation I had with one of my roundtable guests.
Cool.
And the more he doesn't know the full conversation, because I carried on talking to myself after we finished talking.
That happens.
But for example, we were talking about figures and what would we do with the figures, and how would you do this and how would you do that. And one of the things I thought of was obviously the figures would all be in different states. So, ones that are directly involved with the explosion would be obviously in a great deal of pain and hurt, and don't want to go too gory, but they're not going to be in a good place. Those above deck would have known what was coming and anticipated it.
Yeah, saw the
Those below deck would have gone, what the hell was that? Yeah. And that's sort of what I mean is because of those three elements, I can reflect that upon my journey. So, for example, like I say, one of the things in which we did talk about, and we sort of we'll home in on later, is that it occurred to me that that particular moment in time, all the planes are underneath. They're all being refueled, or all being serviced, or whatever. They had a few fighters up in the air, giving protection, who were overwhelmed. But the rest of the people would have been fighting the incoming aircraft, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But you may have had a couple of crew members on the flight deck who were meant to have been doing something or other, who would have heard the plane come in and gone, maybe ducked, maybe laid down because they didn't know what was going to happen, or whatever. And they certainly would have seen the bomb potentially coming in. So with that thought process, I'm going to open up the superstructure a little bit with a door. I'm going to open the door up, so there'll be a member of the crew going, shut the door quickly, get away from that. unfortunately, his mate decided to fall on the floor on the flight deck and sort of make himself as low as possible. Which in the explosion means that he's no longer on the flight deck, but he is laying down.
Ah, right.
Gotcha. So that's just two elements in which, there's going to be lots of fun I can have with it. It's going to create a great deal of work for me, but it's going to be great fun. So,
well, I assume you're not going to be doing anything else for the next 12 months.
So this is meant to be a 12-month project. However, the only stipulation is it will start on June the 4th at 10:56.
Cool. I like it.
Because
how are you going to document it? Are you going to do a video about it every couple of months or something? Or?
So there will be a build series. I will do a few lives. I've got the round table set up for the first. There is the possibility, if the guys enjoy it, and there's lots more questions in which we can have around the build, which I'm sure there will be, we might have another round table or two as we go along. Certainly, I think with the figures side of things, which I did say we'd come back to, but the figures are really awkward because there are no figures. There is one set of figures for this particular kit. And I don't think Japanese sailors waving their hankies saying good luck is probably the right pose. And they are very expensive, these particular figures. So any other Japanese figures are army figures, which will need heavily modifying. So I'm looking at heavily modifying figures. I'm looking at getting... who are they called? Hysterex, I think, off the top of my head. Japanese heads to stick on bodies. And that sort of thing. So it's going to be interesting. So I think probably there's going to be at least another, if I can talk the figure people into it, there'll be another round table talking about how to modify figures and stuff. So it's quite organic. It's going to be a lot of bits going on. There are a couple of bits I will be building in between, which is
going to be. Are you going to be outsourcing anything?
That I haven't quite made my mind up on yet. There is the possibility that I might do that, and there is a list of people in which may be asked.
Because there's going to be a lot of figures to paint.
There will be, and again, if you remember right at the beginning when we were talking about it, I wanted to say it's a way of saying thank you and dealing with all the stuff. But one of the things in which I was taken aback with was, obviously I'm a volunteer for the charity, but I didn't expect the other volunteers and the beneficiaries to support me in the way they did. So I want to say a big thank you to them. So there'll probably be an element of saying to somebody that helped me through that process to say, look, do you want to be a part of this? Do you want to do this? And then that can go in it. And then it's not just my piece. It's all part of the journey. I want it all to interlink and lock and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit out there really, but so there may be a bit of that as well. The other bits and pieces in which I planned to do are things that I wanted to do for other people. So I've got a couple of reviews and stuff that I said I would do that I haven't got around to, that I will do. But they'll give me a chance to step away from the big build, because I think it could be a little bit overwhelming, or it's going to be overwhelming, 100%. And there's something else involved with the whole thing, in which I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to reveal at the moment. But there will be a surprise in about 12 months' time, and that'll be around the time when we finish. Now, I've said 12 months, it might be longer, and there is no finished deadline. It really is a case of it will finish when it's finished, and it will be at the nearest Telford to when it's finished.
Are you going to work on it until it is finished, or is there a potential? Oh, okay. So there's no potential for it to be like 10 years down the road.
No. I've decided that I want to try and get it done within a year. I think there is a possibility I could get it done in much less time than a year. but I'm not willing to put myself under that pressure. And the reason being is because when I did my church diorama that I really, really enjoyed, and the wife really enjoyed the process of that as well. I want to repeat that feeling and that and the excitement I had from it, and the good stuff from that. Obviously, it's a very different build, a very different thing, so it's not going to be exactly the same, but it will be. There will be the opportunity to do something similar. So there will be some episodes that go up on the YouTube channel. I've broken them down into 10 segments in plan. I don't know how many there'll be. I have no idea. And I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and record the process of certain elements, which is the 10 elements. And then I'll make a video for that episode. But what I might do is I might maybe once a month do a live where I just sit for a couple of hours making models, having a chat and interacting with people. That's the idea.
It's going to be more than just a model, isn't it? It's going to be way more.
It's going to be so much more, because I basically got a choice. I had a choice of make a model, or I had a choice of keep a diary and write everything down, write all my feelings down, and all that sort of stuff. And then once I've finished with it, I can pack it away and put it on a shelf and go, I've dealt with that now. But by building the model, I can still do that process.
You can't put it on a shelf,
but it will go on a very long shelf in very many pieces. But it will give me a great deal of pleasure, because not only will I know it's helped me, but I know for a fact it's going to help other people along the way as well. And it's something which people can look at and go, oh yeah, maybe I won't be quite as insane as James, but maybe that process is good for me in some form. So
it's multi-layered, and not just the model is multi-layered, but the actual thing you're doing is multi-layered. Because not only does it talk about the fun of modeling and how that's helped you, but also it's got layers.
It's got so many layers, and more than I could possibly explain or describe. And a little bit like an onion, those layers will be revealed through the process, I think. In fact, I will. So
I wish you every single success with it.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really fun.
Enjoy watching it come together and just laughing at you, thinking, "How the hell are you going to put that?" It's good to have got a whole room dedicated to model making, isn't it?
I will reveal on JMC the 3 guests, which have all confirmed that they're going to be involved. Is Bill Huffman, who is a magician with model making
and with levels,
and he is actually the reason I asked him is because he's like me. He doesn't just build a model; he has to have a story behind the model. And if you listen to him recently about his one of his models where he did, which was a husband and wife that got separated, and oh my god, it's just like so much going on, and it's just 2 figures on a diorama to a point. But so that's going to be super interesting. And I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to with Bill is, but I know Bill will help me all throughout the process, and he's super excited to be involved and all that sort of stuff. But he'll go off on a tangent and think about things that I've not thought about. So that could be quite interesting. That collaboration.
He does lighting as well, and multi-leveled dioramas. No, he's a perfect guy to get involved. Who else?
So another dioramist would be Martin Drayton. Now, Martin probably is like scratching his head. I know he's scratching his head. He's saying, I don't really understand why you think I'm an expert. But the reason I chose Martin is because of the passion that he shows within his models. He's new to model making, and he has steamrolled his way into everybody's vision in the way he builds and what he does. And he picks subjects that aren't normally the norm. So again, share some elements with the way I work. But it was his enthusiasm and youthfulness in his approach that I chose for his expertise.
Great.
So I hope that doesn't come as too much of a shock, and I haven't offended you in any way by it as you listen to this. But anyway, that's why. And I thought the combination of those two dioramists and myself would be more than you would possibly ever need for any diorama. So that's why I chose those two people.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're going to kind of bounce ideas off them, and it won't be just. Yeah, I like the fact that you're going to be discussing it as you build it, and I think that'll be very interesting for other model makers to watch as well.
Yeah, well, it sort of shows that we all get videos, don't we? There's loads of videos online on YouTube and stuff about how I make this brickwork, how I paint this window frame, make this window frame. But there's not really an awful lot of discussion about, well, why did you get to what made you do that? Why did you get to that point, or choose that subject, or so. That's an angle in which I think will be quite interesting to follow.
Definitely.
So that's the diorama side of it. Now, I've chosen the next person because he's awesome. But I chose him because he's great at figures, and I'm gonna need help with figures. So Mr. Rob Herring is our other person that's going to be on the panel. I did want to balance it with another figurist. Is that a word?
Figurist.
A figurist, someone that makes figures. It's not really a word, but I'm going to go with it. But yeah, he's great at making figures and painting and all that sort of stuff. So I got him involved, and what I might do is I might reach out to someone else that I've got in mind. But I haven't spoken to him yet, so I won't reveal who that is.
Right. Well, those three people you've said all work in 35th scale.
They do.
Yep. They all work in. They all paint figures, and they all do some sort of dioramas as well. Yep. Rob does. And I think they all would perfectly understand what you're trying to do and your vision. So I think they're a good idea to choose.
Yeah. Well, I had a short list. I got about 3 or 4 other people that I thought they would suit too. So what I might do is I might reach out to them and drag them in as we go through the story. That's my thought process, really. And they're people that have inspired me and helped me. They don't realise they have, but they have over the last year or so. In fact, more than a year or so. So that's a nice way of saying thank you and payback, really. And then I got the lovely Graham to host it all. Bless him. Yeah, he's gonna try and control us four, which is going to be interesting, because I know that when me and Bill go off on a tangent, he's going to be really hard. And
he's not going to know what hit him.
No, he doesn't know what he's volunteered himself for. Well, no,
I need a cattle prod or something.
I volunteered him, but yeah, no, he's super up for it. So I've actually sat down and I've written an email to them all with a brief idea, a rundown of what it's all about. I've even got some intelligence involved along the way to create images to help us visualize what it is I'm trying to visualize, which has been super fun to do. Some of them are way off. Yeah. Can you draw a figure? Oh, why has it got 3 arms? They've got anyway, but yeah. So I've done a bit of that. That's been pretty cool. AI is ChatGPT. Honestly, if you have not tried ChatGPT for the most zaniest of ideas, do it now. Because it is your best friend.
It's very cool.
I'll give you an example. So in my research, I was starting to look at rivets and nuts and bolts and all that sort of thing. And I thought to myself, I've got to try and figure out a framework. How would the framework of the flight deck be underneath, and how would that all work?
Yeah.
Research. There is nothing out there, nothing at all, because obviously it's a Japanese ship. It's no longer with us. There are no plans. There are nothing.
Right.
Or almost nothing to find. I mean, there probably are plans, but not I found. But yeah, it's really difficult to find anything. I can find stuff on the Ark Royal or Eisenhower or whatever. I can Enterprise. I can find lots of stuff on all that.
Yeah.
Not Japanese. Anyway, so I had a moment of madness. Thought, you know what? I'm going to ask AI. So I said, what do you think? La 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 la. And it came back with really funnily. It was like a moment of sarcasm. There's no information out there, James. So it's really difficult to give you an answer. And I'm like, oh, I know that. That's why I asked you. So I sarcastically wrote. Now this is really strange, I know, but I am developing a relationship with my AI here.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I sarcastically wrote back, well, take a guess, because that's pretty much what I'm asking you to do. So it sat and thought about it for about 5 minutes, then came back with I suppose that we would be able to draw some conclusions if we compared the Enterprise and and it went off on a right tangent and then came up with a 3D sketch of beamwork that I needed for the flight deck, including the depth, width, and what rivets, where the holes were, and all the rest of it. And I'm just like,
looking at other ships built at the same sort of time and the same techniques.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though this particular ship was, it actually was meant to be a supercruiser. It was a battleship that was modified because under the terms and conditions of the treaty that was signed, it was too long, it was too big. So they went, we'll make an aircraft carrier then. Take them guns off and we'll just stick a flight deck in. And it originally had 3 flight decks, would you believe?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, really weird. But anyway, we're going to cover that in a YouTube video coming your way. But yeah, so I was gobsmacked. So all the research I'd done for about a month and a half was actually answered, because I found nothing, was actually answered in about 5 minutes with AI. So
did you ask it to make an STL file so you can print the whole thing out?
I did ask something about SDDs or something, and it doesn't have cream for that. No.
That's a different podcast.
I've got all sorts of files and bits and pieces in which it's made and stuff to follow. So and the last thing that you don't know about this because I haven't told you, but the last thing is that during the next 12 months, there may be the opportunity for people to build along in some form or another,
cool.
with potentially some giveaways. So that was JMC from the shed with bacon sandwiches and juices, and we can't carry on talking any longer because it's going cold.
That's gone cold. The bacon sandwich is gone cold. It's fine. I mean, bacon sandwiches can be cold. They're fine. Yeah.